Welcome. In this lesson, I want to show you the differences between an azimuth and a bearing. And these, of course, are units of measurement of distance in the surveying field or in navigation of ships or aircrafts. And we're going to show you the major differences and how to convert between the two. It's really simple. You look at this document in front of you. You've actually got access to this document. It is found on Blackboard, and it's really handy. I got all the conversion formulas. That way you can jump back and forth if you need to be able to understand a direction, or maybe someone you're working for wants you to put it in the opposite unit. So this is a way you can be able to convert back and forth. Now, we're going to start out with a bearing, and it's quite simple. It's got 4 quadrants. And remember, you're starting in the center point right here. This is where the person, let's say you're standing right here, and you're turning around. This is north, this is east, this is south, and this is west. You're standing here, and you're starting, and you're going to turn around at this point and figure out what direction that you're going to go toward. All right, and that, like, you might be surveying at a distance, and you just got to get your direction of which way you're going to go. So let's start this thing out. And again, there's 4 quadrants, and you're going around a circle which is 360 degrees. Well, you got 4 quadrants. Each one is 90 degrees apiece, so 90 times 4 is 360 degrees. And one thing that you need to quickly understand is bearings. You always go from the poles. You've got north, and then you got south. Alright, so these 4 quadrants are broke up just like that. You either have northeast or northwest. Alright, and down at the bottom here you got southeast or southwest quadrants. You'll never see something like a west-south or an east-north. That's just not going to happen, because you always go from the poles. And saying that, this is always going to be 0, north 0. This is always going to be south 0. So if I'm in the northeast quadrant and I'm standing right here at this point, and I'm going to walk this direction up through here, you go from 0 up here and you calculate the angle that you're turning to meet that line, and it would be so and north, so and so east, degrees east. And let me show you just a little bit more of that. And this right here is a website I've actually got on Blackboard as well that you're going to go and access and look at. But let's start off. This is exactly what you were looking at on the document before. North's going up, south, east, and west. And like we were talking about, 0 is always north, and we're going to come over. You're standing right here and you're looking down this line. Okay, this is the direction we're going to take off walking. Alright? Or we're going to survey. There's something out here and we're standing and we're shooting out through here. So what we're going to do is you go from 0, be like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 degrees. So that's a north 60 degree east. Now down here in this quadrant, we're standing here, and let's say we're shooting another survey down here to this tree. We're standing here, and we're shooting down to here. Remember, this is 0. It's south 0, and it goes up, let's say 10, 20, 30, 40, 45. There's your 45 degree angle. Again, let's say over here we're shooting to a fence post. We're standing here in the center, and it would come from 0, south 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 55, and it would be south 55 degrees west. That's the direction. Up here in this quadrant, your northwest quadrant, you're going north to west, and that's where you're getting this. You're coming over from north 0 30 degrees, and you're standing here and you're looking straight up through here, or you're shooting a survey, and that would be north 30 degrees west. So it kind of makes sense how you're turning is, if you're in that quadrant, that's what it is, either northeast, southeast, southwest, or northwest. It just depends on which quadrant that you're in. Now that's a bearing, and we'll slide on down here, and we'll go to azimuths. Now azimuths are a little bit different, and for some people they say they're a little easier to work with. That's just up to the person that's working with it and what experience you've had. But again, you have north, east, south, and west. You start from the center point here. North is 0. Only north is 0. Unlike the bearings, north is 0 and south is 0 in bearings. Azimuths, you only have 1 0. You go from this point, and it goes all the way around to 360, back to north 0 again. So, on A, from this point to this point, it'd be like north 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. You're standing there, and you're going to go this direction up through here. You're shooting a survey up to this tree. You're standing down here. You're looking at 60 degrees from going from 0 to A. That is north. You don't do it like a bearing, like you would do north 60 degrees east. It's just an azimuth of 60 degrees. Now, from O to B, you go from north. You go from north all the way down to B. So it'd be like, that was 60, that's 90, and this is 135. So the azimuth is 135. Now this line at due south here, it is 180 degree azimuth. And you keep on rotating around here to C, which is 235 degrees. You rotate on that. Due west here is 270 degrees. Keep on rotating from O to D is 330 degrees. So that's the differences between an azimuth and a bearing. Now at this point we're going to talk about how that we convert these things. And the beauty of it is, let's go up here and look at this one. Okay, let's convert azimuths to bearings, bearings to azimuths. It's really simple. You have to have that document open that I have on Blackboard, and inside those quadrants it shows you the formulas. Alright, so we'll get back on here and we'll take a look at this one. In the northeast quadrant, your bearing is the same as your azimuth because both of them are going from north 0. Does that make sense? So if you come here and look at this chart, it says azimuths and bearings are the same. It don't matter if one of them, like you have an azimuth of 15 degrees, your bearing would be north 15 degrees east. It would be the same. The next one we're looking at is in the southeast, and this one is got a bearing of south 45 degree east. Okay, so let's take a look at it. I want an azimuth. So you take azimuth equals 180 minus your bearing. Well, all thing you do is take 180 minus 45, which would leave you with an azimuth of 135 degrees. So if you went, so this would be an azimuth of 135 degrees, which is exactly the same. Now in this quadrant, you're looking at a southwest, and this bearing would be south 55 degrees west. Well, if we want to convert that to an azimuth, all I have to do is use my chart, and look at it. See, 180 degrees plus the bearing. Let's go back on here. So it'll be 180 degrees. 180 degrees plus 55. So on this one, this south 55 degrees west is the same as a 235 degree azimuth. Now we go up here in the northwest quadrant and we're looking at a bearing that is north 30 degrees west, coming from here, moving up this way. And to convert that, we just go and grab, of course, our chart again. And in this one, you got azimuth equals 360 degrees minus your bearing. Our bearing was 30 degrees, so 360 minus 30 would be 330 degrees. So the azimuth for this north 30 degrees west is the same as an azimuth of 330 degrees. And if you had your azimuths and want to convert to bearings, it's very similar, and we could do that real quick just to give you an idea. Again, let's convert these azimuths into bearings real quick. O to A, again, you're in that northeast quadrant, so what happens is they're the same. 60 degree azimuth is the same as north 60 degrees east. So in this quadrant, it's always the same, which makes things easy. In this one, O to B is 135 degree azimuth, so we want to switch it to bearing, so use this one, use bearing. So what you want to find equals 180 minus your azimuth. So 180 minus 135 so all you do is take your little calculator, and you probably do it in your head real quick, and you know it's 45, but just take the time and make sure you're accurate on these numbers, especially when you start getting into degrees, minutes, and seconds. And we'll show you a little bit more about that here in just a moment. So you're getting 45 degrees on that one. Be south 45 degrees east. And you're kind of getting the point on this. From O to C, 235 degrees. Again, look at your chart. Bearings to azimuth. Be azimuth, which was 235 minus 180. So again, 235 minus 180. It would equal 55 degrees on that one. So that'd be the same as a south 55 degree west. And of course the last one from O to D is a 330 degree. And only thing you have to do, again, 360 minus the 30, which would be a north 30 degrees west.